That was John Donnison reporting in Gaza.
While Ban Ki-moon was criticising Israel's policy towards Gaza, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was making it clear that settlement building would continue in East Jerusalem. This issue provoked a row with visiting US Vice President Joe Biden last week, but Mr. Netanyahu stated on Sunday that the policy still stands. And this just hours before he flies to the United States to speak at the American-Israeli Political Action Committee conference in Washington. So, is he making a rod for his own back? Ori Nir is from the organisation America for Peace Now, an American Jewish group which supports Israel, but not its military approach. But first, Dr. Ziad Asali is president of the American Task Force on Palestine.
The administration had to react, but it did react reflexively the first day, but it was clear afterwards that it reacted more in a coherent policy way, which meant that the administration decided to take a stand and to confront the government of Mr. Netanyahu, because they were thinking more of a regional context regarding negotiations. And this is, I think, why the administration chose to be public and to move this to a higher notch, if you would.
Ori Nir, would you agree with that assessment? Was this a flagrant provocation on the first part?
I definitely agree. I don't know if the provocation was intentioned as such, but what I definitely agree with Ziad, and I would like to underscore, is the fact that the administration has shifted from reacting to the timing to reacting to the actual content, to the actual policy, to the actual substance of Israeli settlement in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, and putting that on the forefront of the agenda of American efforts to kickstart the peace process. Once the administration did that and made clear to Prime Minister Netanyahu that that is an issue that the administration wants to confront as they go ahead with their efforts, at least as far as press reports are concerned, it seems like Prime Minister Netanyahu did take some positive measures.
But nevertheless, the policy of building homes in East Jerusalem doesn't appear to have been reversed, does it?
It is not clear. There are actually conflicting press reports, and what I would like to believe was agreed between Jerusalem and Washington, privately probably, is that there will be a major reduction, if not an actual freeze.
Do you think then that there are things going on behind the scenes? I mean, obviously, from Netanyahu's point of view, he doesn't want to be seen to be being dictated to by Washington, but on the other hand, he has to keep Washington on board.
Exactly. The alliance between Israel and the United States is Israel's chief national security asset, and I don't think that any prime minister, including Prime Minister Netanyahu, would risk that relationship for the sake of a few more buildings.
And given how crucial this whole issue of settlement building, of home building is, how should President Obama deal with that when he's talking to Benjamin Netanyahu, for example?
The right way to go, the right thing to do, particularly in the meeting that Netanyahu will have with Obama, and we were just told that there will be such a meeting.
That's for definite, is it?
Yes, it is. It seems definite. Is to have some very serious, piercing words with him and tell him that the United States is serious about this, that this is a U.S. national security interest. This is not being done only benevolently for the benefit of both parties. It is a component of the U.S. policy in the Middle East, and it is too important for the United States for its allies not to play their part and to behave like allies.
Dr. Asali, do you think that will do the trick? Obviously, Ori Nir there is referring to Iran in particular, I imagine. Yeah. Will this kind of rhetoric do the trick?
It's going to be exceptionally difficult for one small little country in the Middle East to that is in many ways dependent on the United States to confront this definition of the United States interest, as well as the global support for that interest. So I think therein lies the real solution. It is, let's have everybody look at their national interests rationally. This is a good time to start a debate, a real conversation inside Israel about their definition of the national interest. Are a few streets or kilometers in the West Bank here and there worth a fight with the United States administration and its president, while the real threat to Israel at the moment we speak cannot possibly be from any Palestinian source?
Dr. Ziad Asali of the American Task Force on Palestine, and Ori Neer from the organisation America for Peace Now, talking to Mark Whitaker.
Barack Obama is potentially within